Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks all about all the cars and trucks, SUVs, the motorcycles, the camper, the dog. Ice Age TV. Who wants a sticker? Are you ashamed to have a sticker now? Is that what's going on? What is going on there on this beautiful Friday, cool morning? Wow, it is such a beautiful morning. If you're a golfer, you'd be loving this. If you're a tennis player, I mean, this is just a perfect type of weather to be outside and enjoying yourself on a beautiful Friday morning before we have the turn of the month of June. And as always, good morning to all those that watch my channel. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support, for all the nuttiness and all the conversations, and the list goes on and on and on, right? And walking yet over to the shop barn once again, keeping the conversations going. Hey! It's just the dogs are wound up this morning, and I don't know what's going on. It's just, oh my gosh. And I did a job yesterday, kicked my butt, kicked my ass. Am I feeling that today? Yeah. Yeah, you crawl around your hands and knees. I start to understand that. One of my friends, Chris, he said, hey, I was bike riding all day. I went out riding my bike. What'd you do? I crawl around my hands and knees. And he's like, yeah, I don't think I can get up. I'm like, yeah, I know the story too well. So the dog's as usual, out of control. Come on, Kiefer's the problem. He's the guilty one. Kiefer's always the guilty. You ever notice that? And so, what are we talking about today? I thought the word of the day, so appropriate today, which I think everybody would agree, is guilty. Yeah, if you watch actually just the highlights of news, you know that somebody is guilty. 34 times guilty. Not one time. I mean, 34 convictions, man. Wow. If we actually ever sort of haul these politicians in the front of courts, I guarantee you can find more than 34 violations in their life of what they've done to others. Guaranteed. Well, go ahead. Get up there. Never-ending Kiefer dog who's always guilty. Yeah, unbelievable, right? The game of politics, the most corrupt, in my views, of times. And sure, there's always been challenges in the government and politicians. Dirty business. It's nothing new, but I just think that a lot feel like it's at an all-time high for the modern times. And so the guilty conversations, boy, oh boy, are we all guilty? And that's what I kind of got to thinking was, yes, think this through where we are in today's society. I mean, sincerely, I think that this is just a perfect word, and they're using Donald Trump as a perfect example of what this sitting administration is trying to do to this country. It's trying to create a guilt feeling to you on everything you do. Yes. Did that rhyme? Trying to create a guilt feeling to you for everything you do. It's really bad. And it's really unfortunate that I feel like there's so many followers that follow this administration, that think this administration's the goody two-shoes, and in so many ways, possibly one of the worst sitting administrations in modern times. And some would argue with that, but I don't really care, because the reality is the guilt trip is at the all-time high. Because if you don't follow their ideology and their policies, you're called out. I mean, who's brave enough to get on Facebook and start making radical statements about what you feel is right versus wrong? Good luck. Good luck before you're banned. Who's brave enough on a YouTube channel to start mouthing off of what they really feel like is right versus wrong? Good luck. Eventually you'll be banned. I mean, the list goes on and on. And the thing is, if you can actually get any traction from the guilt conversation and really get momentum of people listening to you and feeling your movement is correct and accurate, you'll be tarnished like anybody that we know that gets on that movement. And Donald Trump is the number one guy in so many ways that's been tar and feathered for so many guys out there. And once again, I'm not here on my channel to promote Donald Trump. Not here on my channel to promote Joe Biden. I'm just telling you, if you just look at things, what's going on in our society, more than ever, it's the guilt trip maximus. It's the guilt trip maximus. It's our country's in an all-time obesity. I mean, so in so many ways, you as an individual, do you feel guilty for going and eating too much? Because then you're looked at that you're a problem to society, the healthcare system. If you're a person that likes to go out and buy things, yeah, oh yeah, I wonder who that is. Are you a problem to society because you spend too much of you borrow too much money you don't actually have to put the burden on the credit system? Do you feel guilty if you go and drive an electric vehicle? If you don't go buy, I mean, think about it. What's the main agenda being driven more than ever on the car automotive side is you need to love the EVH, which I think is so appropriate. This tag I have for this truck, the EVH. And yes, you're going to have a guilt as time progresses. You move to, say, the Villages in Florida, or you move to some very elitist retirement community. You're going to have a guilt trip put on you when you show up with all your high performance noisy vehicles and you're not on the woke agenda of having electric vehicles. And so that's a main underlying message more than ever going on in our society today. And that's why I created this channel, because of Ice Age. I saw that it would be the taken away age from us as we see the EV age being forced on us like never ever seen. And it's moving forward. Jeep just released their Jeep Grand Wagoneer, or Jeep Grand Cherokee S model, which is fully electric Grand Cherokee that has a 300-mile range. And it's being praised for how nice that vehicle is. Chevrolet just released their Equinox, brand new mid-size small SUV, and it's got a 300-mile range. And it's a very affordable vehicle. It's a $43,000 vehicle if you don't really option out with a lot. And it also qualifies for $7,500 federal tax credit. So at the end of the day, you can go buy a brand new, very nice Chevrolet Equinox, just came out, brand new 2024 model. And that vehicle, at the end of the day, at the dealership, you're going to pay $35,000 and change for that car, because you're going to get immediate $7,500 tax credit. So wow, you can buy a brand new Chevy Equinox, 300-mile range. It's competing in that RAV4, the Cherokee. It's all kind of that mid, that's not real, I don't know if you say mid or small size, but it's all in that little niche market. But Chevrolet is moving forward with the electric agendas. Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Dodge, they're moving forward with the electric agendas. Ford was faster than anybody, the domestics, to bring the masses an electric vehicle, being they brought the Ford Lightning truck and they brought the Ford Mach-E. So for the three domestic ones, they're all on the page that they're not going to give up. Cadillac, they're going to bring electric vehicles. So it isn't stopping. So for you as an Ice Age person, when does the day come that you feel guilty that you're not participating and help save the world on the EV agendas that so many feel that you're a disgrace? Yes, I can promise you, you will hear stories as time progresses of those that move to these retirement communities, these HOAs, and you'll be frowned upon, especially if you have a wife and you're into the whole country club thing, golf club thing. You'll get in with the woke agendas, and you get in with the Biden supporters, and they're going to tarnish you for your views and ideology of how you look at things and operate, and will make you feel guilty. It gets very, very deep on the guilt trip that you as a parent now will try to teach your child what's right versus wrong. And in the end, the schooling systems are going to try to explain to your child that your parent is guilty of a lot of wrong things. I've said it many times. You send your kid off to college. I've heard the stories from my personal subscribers that they send their kid off to college and they come back and you're guilty of all the things that you actually taught them, that, how you were so wrong of how you showed them the world. And you're now the problem. I've said many times to my daughter and others, in the end, I think that that this country could go to those who are tracking down former military people, because they'll be taught that they were the problem of today's world. And they'll be wanting to do things to them that won't be so nice. So you can kind of start just going through a lot of everything that's going on around us. And it's all tied to the cars. And what's really interesting here is a lot of my subscribers reached out, which I think is really cool, even emailed me on the repo conversations. And I appreciate that. To George and Andrew, Biker Bug, and George P. And John Porter. I kind of feel for John Porter. I think people mistook a comment in my comments yesterday. So, hey, John, I mean, I kind of feel bad in some ways because I feel like you kind of got attacked from other other of my subscribers. I think it was just more of a miscommunication of what was kind of going on. So everybody out there, I hope you all can kind of come to be that you're on my channel. And if people are subscribed to my channel, I think at the end of the day, for the most of us, we're all on the same page. I just don't think I have Joe Biden. I don't think I have the real big Joe Biden movement person watching my channel, because I criticize the Biden administration a lot, and I criticize all the green and woke agenda stuff. So I just can't see me really attracting that mindset person. So I think that for anybody on my channel that has subscribers, and I would say too that I have probably a lot of independents. And here's the thing. By all means, if anybody out there is a Joe Biden person and you watch the channel, hey, God bless you, thank you. I mean, here's the thing. Let's hope that we can all kind of come to closure at some point in our lives of what seems to make sense, and we're at peace with one another instead of trying to create the guilt trip. So for me, my whole channel, and the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because Andrew, one of my good subscribers, he was the Biker Bug. He was saying on how my channel needs to have more content on the car reviews and the motorcycle reviews and like the F-150 tow review. And yes, I totally agree with that. But my goal with my channel has been to really create a conversationist type of morning conversation. I've always had this dream of being like the Cars and Coffee, of where I can get up each day and bring content that intrigues many, many, many people to watch my channel and hear the ideas and views of the car industry, what's going on, and that I have not like Joe Rogan. He's an incredibly successful podcaster, media personality. But wow, if I ever had that type of audience, where I was able to take my channel to a whole different level of being a conversationist of the car industry and all those things, that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And because I want to show people that just because I go buy another vehicle, does that mean that's the only way I can entertain people on my channel? And that's a challenge, and it really is. And it's very challenging for me because I've gone out and bought. If you look at my channel from 2020 to present day, I would say I've bought over 100 vehicles. I'm sure I've bought over 100 vehicles that people have access to. So many videos. It intrigues me. People reach out and give me compliments on vehicles that I used to own years ago. They don't know that those vehicles have all been sold. I've moved on. How-to videos where people are asking me something about that vehicle at that time, and I'm kind of like, wow, that vehicle's gone. I can't even really tell you the specifics of that anymore because it's excuse me, because it's all gone. My throat. Gotta get some water. Wow. I need some water. So anyways, for Andrew and others, try to reach out and say, here's an idea. What can you do with? And hold on a second. And some here would say, just stop the video when you're going to cough or drink. Well, the way the video works, when I cut it off and back on, it takes an extra amount of time to create this video in the morning. So it means that now I've got to freaking upload separately just the video. So you have to first create the whole video and then save the video. And then once the video saves, then you can go to YouTube and upload it. So it takes longer. Versus if I just make the video and I never stop videoing, I can just instantly publish this video to YouTube. So it's more efficient and it goes faster. So I definitely hear anybody there out there. It's like, you start yelling at your dogs and that's irritating. Yeah, I know. But this is a channel that's just running off a shoestring. And I don't have anybody behind the scenes feeding me content, which I'm glad. Because this is just, as so many say, it's just raw material. I just get up in the morning and I just get ideas in my head and I just start talking. And I think a lot of people that can relate with the different ideas. And it's just all about thoughts that pop in my head. And I try to use those with the whole cars. And once again, I get more water. I need water. I was out doing a job yesterday. Yeah, I kicked my butt. Yeah, I kicked my butt. And then for the evening time, we got out and rode the dirt bikes. I mean, had a lot of fun. Then I had the throwing contest, which for Don, I told Don he needs glasses. I don't think you saw that video right, Don. So yesterday, if you watch my video, we had the launch handle to throw Kiefer balls. So I told my daughter Julia, let's have a contest. So for the record, my daughter was right in this area here, and she threw that ball down there where those birds are. Now, so past that dirt, the pile, down straight down. I threw the ball, and it goes so high up in the air, you lose it. You don't know where it is, and it landed down there near the pond. So Don was saying your daughter won. I'm like, how did my daughter win? My ball was down there next to the pond. Her ball was out here in the grass. So I don't know if you saw where that landed, but mine went straight way up in the air. And I can throw the ball. It's dangerous. The ball gets in the pond, and then sometimes he won't go get it. So it turns into a whole ball thing. Anyway, just trying to clarify for Mr. Don, who has 20/20 vision, that's older than me. That's very impressive. I was telling him, like, wow. You know, that's, to be at your age. Look at this here. Am I guilty for screwing up my car? Yep. And then if you're watching my channel, you'll see that who's the guilty party that didn't get my supercharger, all my components. So good news is supercharger's here. Bad news is the key components to actually put it on the engine to make it run, they're nowhere to be found. So a lot of you may not know this because some don't probably watch every video I post, but I posted a video late yesterday afternoon that I'm pissed off because of FedEx not delivering me that other part. And it just makes no sense how the driver has two parts, two boxes to be delivered to the same address, and I worked my ass off to get that information to have both of those boxes delivered to the FedEx store where I live here in Leesburg. And to no avail. Now it's gone. So those components are gone. So who's the guilty party? And it's the weirdest thing. I think that FedEx driver doesn't like me. That was just the weirdest experience of FedEx trying to get a package to me. I think that person deliberately did not want me to get that package. Maybe there's some motorhead, or I don't know. Maybe they know about my channel. They don't like my channel. I mean, people do so many devious things in this world. I mean, okay, let's look at the Democratic Party. I mean, does anybody remember the never-ending accuse Donald Trump from the day he got in office that he did this and he did that and he did this and he did that, and Adam Schiff mouthed off all day long every day of his life, and Maxine Waters and the whole list of political figures, they mouthed off every day of their life. They had guaranteed evidence of Russian collusion for Donald Trump to be elected to office. Blah, 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 blah. What has happened to all those people that made all those accusations? Besides nothing. Besides they continue to get to run their mouth all day long, and they're guilty as all sin that they all lied to everybody. They're all guilty, but nothing comes from it. Nothing. Goose egg, zero. And then at the end of Trump's presidency, to try to make sure he doesn't get reelected, they then go through the Ukraine. Joe Biden, does anybody ever really think through about the whole Ukraine accusation by Donald Trump that he made about Joe Biden? And then he was hauled into court and rung through the ringer once all again about how he made accusations of Joe Biden that was deliberately done to make sure Joe Biden couldn't run for president. Does anybody remember all this stuff? And then all you heard was nonstop chatter of all this stuff. But here in the end, when Joe Biden gets elected, he's taken upon himself to fund the Ukraine war like never seen in modern times, of us being outside a third party of a major war in this world with Russia. And it's all about Joe Biden. But yet everybody was saying what Donald Trump is saying about Joe Biden colluding with Ukraine. That's a bunch of malarkey. Oh my gosh, man, it doesn't end. Everybody's our brains in so many ways are pea-sized. I mean, for the general public, I think people they can't remember anything that was said a week ago. So, oh my gosh, wow, where's all that accusation, right? I mean, so guilty. It's a guilty, you just line them all up. They're all guilty for misleading the general public of information that is so wrong. But yet so many will listen to this. The regime is, and that's the way I say it, the regime that says so many things that they all think will be beautiful. It's going to be perfect. And everything's so much more expensive. And the key things that are more expensive, have you thought through? Food and energy. Yes, you know why food's more expensive? So you don't eat as much. You need to stop eating, man. You're eating too much food. You need to stop eating, especially that red meat. Energy. Wow. Hey, everybody. We've got an energy revolution going on. It's called the electric vehicle, the renewables. Wow. And it's amazing how all the energy's gotten so much more expensive to drive our cars and fuel. Wow. What's going on? Oh, wouldn't the green agenda just love to see everybody buy electric vehicles? Oh my gosh. Wow. The Ice Age cars, they've gone through the roof in pricing. Wow, I wonder what's going on. Oh yeah, I mean, come on. Guilty, guilty, guilty. All these activists, all these agenda people, they're guilty to the max of undermining this country deliberately to make you, really to have you live in pain and suffer for your views and ideas. And if you don't go along with it, you're guilty, beyond guilty. I think if the stock market wasn't a hot item right now, I just don't know how people would be making the money they're making. I mean, I'll give it credit. If you invested in the right stocks here in the last few years, when that stock market got down to like 28K and you played the game right, you've done very well. Very well. Especially if you invested just in the NVIDIA alone. That stock there could have made you millions upon millions. I mean, so what's really going on? I mean, it's a never-ending conversation every day I bring up. It's just click on those key YouTubers that I share with you on a daily basis. And the experts are saying it's over. It's over beyond over. Well, okay. Now they're saying that I actually did a screenshot of a realtor that says that houses are now 50% off. Does anybody know this conversation? I mean, are these guilty YouTubers that mislead people like never ever seen? And I hear you. A lot of my YouTuber subscribers will weigh in and say, sadly, you just have to lie. You just have to lie if you want to build your channel. And I'm thinking, wow, you just have to, and that's the thing. Even my daughter's like, Dad, why do you share your personal information on your channel? Like, well, because the channel is all about me sharing who I am, what I do. And there's huge risks of me going out with the never-ending buying addictions. And what turns that off eventually? Yeah, what turns it off is you can't manage your money and you can't afford this stuff. And then eventually, guess what? Let me see here if I can find this thing here. I'm just trying to get my phone in order so you can see a screenshot without showing my whole personal world. Okay, so, actually, it's this guy out of Florida, Mr. Michael, let's see here. Mr. Michael, Badero, what's his name? Bordenero. He says housing market is upside down. Houses selling for 50% off. That's a month ago. Is that factual? I mean, sincerely, could somebody please send me a listing of homes? I mean, all sincereness, I was going to buy property down in Florida, but really Tennessee, here just right before the pandemic. I was going to buy some property down there. And now, forget it, man. Forget it. Forget it. It's so expensive. Down in rural Tennessee, a piece of property, you could buy like 5 acres of land down there back before the pandemic for like $100 grand, $125 grand. I mean, now today, people want at least $200, $300 grand for that stuff, if not more. You could buy a nice little house down there for like $300 grand. Now it's $500,000. And so now this guy, Michael, you just saw it. I wish people would go to those YouTube channels and watch these personalities and then come back to my channel and post comments on, yeah, I watched that guy. That guy's full of shit. I mean, sincerely, hate to use the foul language, but anymore, I think people need to be called out for what they produce, and they produce just shit. But people love it, but they don't, because I've come to closure. It's not people responding on these YouTube channels. It's bots. It's the artificial intelligence. Yeah, where is it going with the guilt factor? Oh my gosh. Can you just wait to hear the stories of all this artificial intelligence that gets so involved in your life, and it knows your life. And what it's going to do is going to tell you, oh, Mr. Iceman, you didn't do this today. You didn't do that today. You're not being good today. What you call artificial intelligence starts micromanaging you. Can you even imagine? But that's where it's going. It's being designed for a reason. It's being designed to, in so many ways, recreate the human race being managed by computers, by artificial intelligence, which I talked about in great length on my channel so many times about the generative pre-trained transformer, the ChatGPT, and how it's going to transform us humans to have a guilt on us because it'll know everything about us. It'll be constantly, hey, Mr. Iceman, you can't afford that. You cannot afford that. You can't do that. Hey, whoever you are, don't go to the bar. Don't do that. That's not the right thing to do. Hey, don't go hang out with your buddies. You should be at home with your wife and your kid. Hey, I mean, you can go through the list of what this stuff's going to create to drive mankind to what? What is it going to do? But then I know I'll hear the person, well, it's going to help create the medical industry, so it's more efficient, and it's going to be able to do that. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of positives out of it, but sadly, there'll be a lot of negatives out of it as well. Will people no longer be getting pets because you just have a robotics pet? I mean, yeah, is that far-fetched? I don't think so. I think as the future goes, people will own machines in place of pets, and then you'll be guilty to want to go buy a pet because you won't give it the right loving and care. On my own channel, I've had people call me out because I ride around on my dirt bike and my dogs chase me. I ride around on my ATV, my dogs chase me. I ride around on my Talon and dogs chase me. And people have, I had one video from Facebook removed because it was basically a strike in Facebook's world that I was abusing my animals by having them run around our property and chase me on my machines, which I've been doing that forever. And I've never had any issue with it. It gives the dogs a hell of a lot of exercise. It's a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun. And I got a pond where they can go cool down. But no, somebody on Facebook, they said that you're guilty, man. You're guilty. But this person here, I think, is the person probably has their dog locked in their house, and they feed it everything they eat, and I think they both look probably the same. You ever notice that? You ever seen a person walking a dog and you think, wow, that dog's just like the freaking person that owns it. Wow. Don't get personal, right, Mr. Iceman? I won't. Yeah, who's this guy's little thing here? So yeah, the guilty conversations, the week of hell. It has been a week of hell, and that FedEx thing, it really pisses me off. I mean, it really does, because where everything's going to go. So I called FedEx, and they don't know the packages. Called Lethal Performance out of Florida. They feel bad about it. Their position is it'll be a 7 to 10 days for FedEx to come back with what they're going to do. So 7 to 10 days. So that was yesterday. So now we're into next week. Okay, so let's just say that next week they call and say, yes, your package has been stolen or lost or whatever, and we will give you monies now to buy the remaining of those components from Whipple. And so Lethal Performance claims when they get all that go to get another, the components is what I call it, when they get the components to be available to be shipped to me, he thinks they'll get on that very quickly and right away, and it won't be a big deal. But for me, I really think now this is the end of June before I see the components for that Whipple. But then I'm probably going to go to Florida, blah, blah, blah. I really think this is now going into the July or August before I even have a chance to get this put on my car. Another part of me says, you know what? Lethal Performance, just reverse everything back, and I'll ship back your Whipple Supercharger to you, and I'm out. Because this is beyond believable of what I've done, where you got $12,000 out of me in December of last year, and here's my car sitting here, and I still don't have the Whipple Supercharger in my car. I mean, beyond believable. So part of me is like, is it meant to be? Is it meant to be? I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, wow. Excuse me. I'm hacking and coughing. I got the F-150 truck out yesterday. I tell you what, this is a great truck. Man almighty. People are calling me. It's just driving me nuts this morning. This is one of those mornings. This is just one of those days where just leave me alone. Somebody's always on the phone, and yikes. So that's a customer, which I'll have to call back when I'm done here. But anyways, the electric truck, it's such a great truck. I mean, it really is. I mean, I can't emphasize enough. F-150 truck, when I work out of this, I can leave this truck on all day long. It just stays powered on. I run my electric tools off of it because it has the power, pro power, front in the front, has it in the rear. I mean, so it's such the versatile great. It's so powerful, so fast, adaptive cruise control, stop and go, hands-free driving. So it's it really is a great vehicle. So, I mean, in so many ways, somebody be like, well, you're kind of just the trader, because in so many ways, you're in one conversation, you don't like the EV age, but yeah, you own it. No, what I'm saying to you is, I don't like, and that's what most people will say the same thing, I don't like the force of the EV age on us through this Biden administration with the Inflation Reduction Act that's trying to create the future and forcing the future and going to make you feel guilty if you don't go along with the future. But the irony to all this whole IRA thing is, it's a fluke, because already the Chinese are way ahead of the domestic side of producing electric vehicles, and China easily could just ramp up and come in this country and start changing things very quickly. But that's the whole point. The Biden administration should feel guilty for the way they do things, because on the one end, they're sitting here blabbing about save the frickin' world, but on the other end, they don't want to hear it that China has a better platform and a go-to platform right now with less expensive electric vehicles, and they're doing everything they can to keep them out of our country, just to enrich those that can take the government money and go create a business and then piss through all the money. And if it doesn't happen, they just bankrupt the company and whatever. I mean, when you go through a bankruptcy, George P. reached out to me and he made a great comment. And I know all about this because I've been through this before. I've been through the hardships of my life a few times. And yeah, when you go have a vehicle repossessed and there's a deficiency on it, technically they can 1099 you for income. But you know what? I don't know. I think that to me is a little vague, George, because if you agree to pay the deficiency, then how is that money gifted to you? So versus you don't pay the debt, then that becomes income that you took per se, you never paid it. So I don't know. I'm not so sure on how that really plays out, because when you go through a bankruptcy and you walk away from your debts, I get that. Meaning, versus if you have a repossession and the company or your individual, you agree to pay the difference in what you owe on it and when it's sold at auction, you're not going to get 1099 for that because you agreed to pay the debts on that vehicle that weren't paid. But if you go through a bankruptcy, I get that conversation that if you bankrupt your company or yourself and you have all these deficiencies and you don't have to pay for them, technically now that's classified as income, and your 1099 C form is sent to you that the company shows that they can now write off you and have tax liabilities. Yeah, it gets very deep and complicated if you get yourself into financial ruins. And yeah, I can only hope that isn't my story. Can only hope, like one of my subscribers said, pray for a miracle. I've had a lot of miracles in my life, and I really have. I've gotten through a lot of challenges. But right now, it just seems to be more challenging than ever for me for just a lot of things on the other side. But we're not going to harbor all in that. But like my daughter's saying, why do you share all? Well, it's because I think people like to be able to tune into a channel and hear stories and learn. And I think that I think it's just more about the content and the conversations. And I think also so many look at all the stuff I have and scratch your head and just wonder, how does he maintain this? And I say it all the time. It's extremely challenging. And yeah, for me, am I the guy that thinks I'm going to be Mr. YouTube personality that starts making a ton of money? Now, here's what's interesting. On Facebook, I've never been a Facebook person, but Facebook definitely does have entertainment on all their reels, wanting to see older movies, cartoons. But you get a lot of women that flaunt themselves on there to get you to go to what's the fan duel or dual fan. I don't know. I don't really follow this stuff. But I was talking to my daughter about this yesterday, and there's just one girl that always populates on these reels. Lots of women do, but they're trying to lure you to their sex side of their life. And so this one girl, she claims that she has 25,000 subscribers, and she gets paid $10 a month per subscriber. And I'm like, what? And so I saw my daughter last night. She's like, yeah, that girl has mansion, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. She's richer than rich for showing her body off on a whole other platform of the internet. So 25,000 viewers times $10. That's $250,000 a month. That girl's making like $2.8 million a year flaunting her body. Wow. Just beyond believable, right? But that's, that's what it's all about. It's all about eye candy. And sure, this is eye candy, but for the, would people pay, would you pay $10 a month to subscribe to me to watch my videos? And that's where it goes, though. You'll hear on YouTube, the creators, the back-end guys, they push for you as a YouTuber to start creating your own like private channel to a degree where people only can watch your content if they agree to subscribe to you and pay. And I just think, do I really have to resort to that? And then where does that all go? And I mean, I just think that, now you're just digging your own ditch. I'd like to think that my channel, from my conversations and my antics and my sharing what I do and overall interaction, would draw more subscribers, and then just through the natural churn of subscribers and viewership, my advertising monies, monetization, would grow substantially just from that. And then, could I get somebody who wants to sponsor me and promote one of their products or something like that? I mean, that's possible, but it gets into a lot of work. I mean, this is a lot of time and energy to bring content on a regular basis. And the thing is, the danger is, once you kind of disappear, your subscribers are going to kind of disappear with you. So you got to be very careful on just saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this for a while. I'm just going to quit doing this for a while. But then yet I have other subscribers that'll make a comment that they have very small amount of subscribers, and they'll post a video and they'll get thousands of views. But the thing is, it's the consistency is the only way you can kind of keep the monies coming in. All right, that's it. I'm done. It's another day of conversations. The Kiefer boy who's content without the dogs. CBR 1000RR. This has electric steering in it, which is pretty cool because hopefully that would help you in the death wobble situation. Daughter says it's funky, kind of how that steering feels. She can kind of sense that. But yeah, hopefully she ain't doing that, if you know what I mean by that. Transalp 750, that thing is so much fun. That is a really great motorcycle. The Talon, this thing with that turbocharger. Wow, the Average Twin, just a badass looking bike. Have I ridden it? No, I mean, in all reality, just with all the things that I've got going on in my life, and, it's just taking time to ride. Yeah, it's not, so I don't disagree with anybody who watches my channel, but for why? Right, because I just love to own lots of things, can you tell? I mean, I just have always had a goal in my life to have a collection of a bunch of toys, but it's so expensive, how long does it last? And and the repo possessions, I mean, is it like everything's going to go away? No, but do I cross the bridge and I say some things just ain't worth it, and I just take the hard knocks, and I just say, okay, it just isn't affordable anymore, and I have to let it go. But then that changes everything. And sincerely, if I was just to let a few cars go, it's over. It's over. It's, I go to apply for credit for them. They'll be like, you already have so many vehicles, and now we see you're having challenges paying for them, where, there's no way. There's no way. You got enough cars. It's done. Yeah. Or do I go try to get rid of 2 or 3 vehicles for one vehicle? Which that goes on as well. But that's always been my thing with me buying cars. You'll see a ton of cars, then all of a sudden you see not as many cars. So we'll just have to kind of evaluate what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And as those say, be at peace with yourself and be at peace with God. And if you have faith, pray for a miracle, and things will just kind of play out. But what would really be, to me, really exciting is if I really saw my channel really just take off. And for all my efforts of trying to make this channel unique compared to others, it would be so cool if this channel really took off and started making me decent monies. And I think that would be so cool. But for the moment, that's not the story. the moment. It's just nominal monies. And here we are at the Gold Rush. Haven't driven this thing in ages. So, yep. All right. That's it on my guilty conversations. Do you feel guilty? Do you feel guilty today? What did you do? Yeah, who's to know these stories? The guilt trip. If you're married, got kids, got a job, you didn't complete your task, what you're supposed to do at work. Maybe you misled somebody on something. You didn't spend time with your child because you were too busy working. You forgot something for your wife or your husband. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Do you feel guilty? You drove down the road 100 miles an hour and you shouldn't have, and just about had an accident. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Here's another thing. I got these cars, these are Virginia cars. I got to get these damn things inspected. I got to get an inspection sticker on these things. I'm riding around this thing like, you know what? I got to get an inspection sticker on this damn thing because the state of Virginia makes you go every year to get your car inspected, and because otherwise the state wouldn't be safe, right? That's what they say. And then the Ram truck, that's a whole other story. All right, that's it. I'll shut up. So everybody have a blessed Friday, and stay tuned for more adventures. What's the next venture? I don't know, but you never know with me. People are calling me, you got that Ford Ranger Raptor. I'm like, here I am telling everybody I may let things go, but yet people are calling me, hey, you got a Ford Ranger Raptor and you want one? It just doesn't end, man. Everybody, God bless. Have a great day.